And here we are. It is September the 1st. September! The fall is right around the corner. The summer is almost over. Technically, we have summer for 3 more weeks, but fall weather is coming. Football is about to start 1 week from today. The NFL season kicks off real football. Enough of this preseason crapola. The Browns play their first game in 11 days. I am ready for some football. I am ready for September. I'm not ready for the snow and the 20 degrees that's around the corner, but that's life. Suck it up, will you? And I've got plenty to talk about on this first podcast of September. We've got the Guardians losing, doing nothing at the plate yesterday against the Orioles. We've got Serena Williams winning. And I don't know. I know I don't know that much about tennis, but I was not surprised at all that she won. It seemed like everybody thought she was going to lose because the player was number 2. I don't know. We'll get to that a little bit later. But we begin with controversy. Ooh. Baker Mayfield, did he say it? Did he say he was going to F up the Browns? Did he not say he was going to F up the Browns? We will figure it all out. Coming up right here. Have I overmodulated? In the bullpen.
Podcast is not for the faint of heart.
And I do think it's time for the Browns to move on.
It's not for those who ride the fence.
He's proven nothing.
But if you're looking for someone who tells it like it is about Cleveland sports,
everybody does fandom their way.
You've come to the right place.
I don't think he's any good.
It's time for the bullpen with Adam the Bull.
Shout out to the Cleveland Clothing Company who just today unveiled their line of Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show t-shirts. I am super excited about this. We knew they were being made. We didn't know when it was happening. I had no clue it was happening today. There's 2 really cool shirts. Check out their Twitter feed. Check out our Twitter feed. One that just has our logo, which is really cool, and that one that has the faces of me and Jay and G and Mike and Brad and Tyvis. I have a good angry face on that picture. I'm like, ah! Love it. Love it. They're great t-shirts. I can't wait to get them. So check those out. Also, make sure you check out my Cameo page. Somebody just hired me yesterday to do another fantasy draft order. I'll get to that today. If you're the one who sent it to me, I'm going to get to it this afternoon. So I'll send it your way this afternoon. And also follow me on Twitter, of course, at Adam the Bull. I'll put that up there. There we go. Oh, in case you didn't know. And check out my website, adamthebull.com. You can book me to do a variety of things. Nothing illegal. All right. Let's talk about the Baker Mayfield situation. So it's funny to me. Baker, so this all started when Cynthia Freeland of the NFL Network, who I like a lot, she is not really a reporter. She is look at my hair, it's jacked up. I forgot to fix my hair before the show. Look at that. I got messed up hair. I'll be honest, it's 8:29 right now, and I haven't taken a shower yet for Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And I probably should have taken a shower before I did this, but I don't always do that. Sometimes I do the show, I do the podcast, then I take a shower, and then I put it out into the world, and then I go do the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But I keep it real here. I haven't showered yet this morning. Usually I fix up, at least if I don't shower, I fix up my hair a little bit. It's not like I got a fancy hairdo or anything. My hair's a little jacked up this morning. But so Cynthia Freeland, who is an analytics and fantasy football person on NFL Network, is the sideline reporter for the Bills. I don't know if this is the first year she's done it. She has a relationship with Baker, a friendly relationship. After the Bills-Panthers game, she says that she said, hey, go, she was pumped. I'm excited for you. All positive. Hey, go F up the Browns. And she says that he then followed that up and said, yeah, I'm going to F him up or whatever. I don't know. I think she said, F up everybody, whatever. Now, I didn't think it was a big deal that she said it. I certainly think, or that she revealed that, what she said and what he said. I certainly didn't think it was a big deal what Baker said. I didn't, is it bulletin board material? I've never been sold that bulletin board material is a real thing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm not in those locker rooms. I don't play. I have no idea. So I've heard some people say yes, some people say no. I wasn't going to rip Baker for what he said because whatever. Like, don't you want, like, if he's your quarterback, if he was the Browns quarterback, we want him to say he's going to F up the other team. So I don't care. I got no problem with what Baker said. I didn't have a problem really with Cynthia letting it out. It got made kind of a big deal. She came on our show, on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and said, she probably shouldn't have put it out there. She subsequently said she reached out to Baker's people, and they obviously were not happy that it was out there in the end. I mean, it's not a big deal, and I brought it up again today and yesterday on Twitter because Baker then went in front of a press conference and threw her under the bus and said he didn't say it. Now maybe it's true. Maybe listen, here's what I'm pretty sure. Cynthia Freeland didn't just make this up. There would be no point in her doing that. It makes no sense. She would destroy her credibility. She was coming from a completely positive place. She didn't make it up. Is it possible she misheard what he said? Yeah, that's possible, I guess. And that would be unfortunate. I think it's also very possible that he said it in the heat of the moment, just kind of repeating what she said, and for some reason now he's denying it, which is silly. I don't know. If he said it, he should just stand by it. Like, what's the big deal? I just, I don't know. So to me, I'll give him a chance. Yesterday I said there's no way she's lying. He's lying. There's no way she's lying. Like, he has a reason to lie. She doesn't. But I guess it's possible she misunderstood what he said. Maybe she thought he said that because she had just said it. Who knows? In the end, it's not that big a deal. I'm not making that big a deal of it. In fact, there were people at me yesterday said, well, why don't you just let it go? Let it go. What? I didn't let it go. I had let it go. It wasn't much of a topic. And then Baker basically called her a liar, even though she's on his side. And so I thought, well, if we're going to say it's unfair that she said it, and if he did say it, and now he's calling her a liar, well, that's unfair too. So, again, it's not a big deal. I have no problem with what he said. If he's lying, which my best bet is that he probably is. For some reason, he just wants to deny that he said that. And he's lied about not saying things before. He's thrown Mary Kay under the bus in the past. I don't know. So I just think the whole the whole thing is silly in the end because it doesn't matter what he said. I would think as competitors, Baker does want to F up the Browns and the Browns want to F up Baker. I mean, isn't that pretty obvious? So does it matter that he said it or not? It really doesn't. I don't think. There's plenty of motivation for both sides to want to win this game beyond the what it means Baker versus the Browns, and beyond that, it's just there's only 17 football games and everybody wants to make the playoffs. So every football game matters. That's why the ratings for football. That's why the ratings for the Steelers-Lions preseason game beat every Christmas Day game in the NBA and so on and so forth, because the 17 football games, they all mean so much, as opposed to baseball and basketball, where there's so many regular season games that seem meaningless, even though they're not. Well, they are in the NBA. They're not really in Major League Baseball because there's less teams that make the playoffs. But whatever, they're not as meaningful as they are in the NFL. And that ultimately, along with the fact that the NFL is the easiest sport to gamble on and it's the best sport to play fantasy with, is why the NFL is so absurdly popular compared to the other sports. So that's why, everything gets talked about and this and that. But ultimately, there's plenty of motivation for guys every week, whether, something silly or bulletin board material is said or not. I mean, again, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't know why, if Baker did say, again, it is possible she misunderstood what he said. I'll say that's a possibility. I think there's zero chance that she didn't just make it up. It doesn't make any sense. Think rationally here. Most likely he's just doesn't want to admit he said it for some reason. Is it the cursing? I mean, we got to get over it. It's words. Who cares? Is it... I don't know what it is. If he's trying to avoid giving the Browns bulletin board material, it's too late anyway. And Baker did his typical thing. You guys are going to write what you want to write, and you guys are as if everybody's out to get Baker. Meanwhile, I've never seen a quarterback a mediocre quarterback get more defended by media and fans than Baker Mayfield. It is really funny. Like, Baker whines and cries as if he's like some wronged. He's been wronged. Millions of teams have moved on from players to a better player. No, I've never seen a mediocre player get defended and been, people argued that he was treated unfairly. Never. I've never seen a player get defended, and yet Baker, all he does is say, "Woe is me. Everybody's picking on me." It's really ridiculous. And I know, I hate Baker and blah blah. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate him personally. I don't know him personally. I do throw out around hate to, usually when a guy rubs me the wrong way, I say hate. I don't really hate like I want anything to happen to him. I don't want anything bad to happen to Baker. I'm not rooting against him in life, but I am rooting against him on the field. I've been honest about that. I don't want him to succeed in Carolina. I want him to fail. And if that makes me a bad person, then so be it. There's a lot of people that feel that way about different people and different things. They're just not honest about it. I am, and I'll live with that. So, but don't cry me a river, Baker. Don't cry me a river. I mean, give me a break. It's pathetic. It's like everybody so many people defend him, and he said, "You're going to write what you want to write. Everybody's making stuff up. I'm a victim. I didn't say what people wanted this offseason." I mean, give me a break. Oh, poor Baker. He's been wronged. Football player. We had thousands of football players just cut. Maybe not thousands, hundreds of football players just cut in the last 2 days. Were they all wronged? I mean, it's just so absurd. Folks, I got to talk to you about Built Bars. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And now there's a new flavor. Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. It's phenomenal. Cookie dough chunk puffs. Can't go wrong with that. Light, chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and, of course, covered in 100% real chocolate. Just 160 calories and 15 grams of protein. Go to Built.com to snag a box for you and your family and use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to save 15% off your order. That's LOCKEDON15 at Built, BUILT.com. Water break. Okay. So I want to switch gears to the Guardians. Not a good game yesterday. Tristan McKenzie, if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at his line on the mound, you'd say, it's not bad, right? 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs, 7 Ks. That's, an okay outing. He wasn't his best. If you actually watch the game, he was very shaky. His command was off. He lost. I gotta go back to the third inning. I can't remember who it was. Cedric. No, third inning. Where am I? I'm not in the third inning. Okay. So the Orioles had runners at first and third, 2 outs, and Anthony Santander at the plate. And it was a scoreless game at the time. I'd given up a couple of hits in that inning. And so Santander's got a 3-2 pitch. There's a couple of close calls. And then the 3-2 pitch is outside. The crowd's going nuts. And I had, taken my head off the screen for a minute. And I go back and look at it again to see the pitch. And it's always funny to me because fans always, and it's not just in Cleveland, it's every stadium. It's always like, we got wronged on that call. And sometimes it's true. In this case, it wasn't. The 3-2 pitch to Santander was clearly outside. They appealed. He did not swing. So it was a legitimate walk. And it seemed like after that, Tristan McKenzie really got off kilter. I mean, Ramon Urias was up next, bases loaded, 2 outs in a 0-0 game, and he just walked them on 4 pitches. He did bounce back nicely to get Ryan Mountcastle, made a good pitch, good 2-strike pitch to get him out on a line drive. But the Guardians couldn't get the bats going. McKenzie gives up a home run to Gunnar Henderson. By the way, great name, Gunnar Henderson. Very cool story. He was making his major. For those who don't know, Gunnar Henderson is the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. Got called up by the Orioles yesterday and made his major league debut, and it was a home run, his first hit. I think it was a second. I don't think it was a second at bat. It was a second at bat. And he just crushed that ball off McKenzie. And McKenzie's pitch count was really high. He was just kind of off all day. And the bullpen, for the first time in forever, gives up runs. And it's funny, Eli Morgan was so good early in the year. I was going, like, the first half of the year, I was like, it's all about Clase and Morgan. Well, now it's still about Clase and a lot of other guys, but not about Morgan. Morgan can't be trusted. Brian Shaw can't be trusted. Pretty much everybody else in the bullpen is very trustworthy right now, but Eli Morgan, who looked great early in the season, it feels like he gives up a run every time he pitches. So he won't be in there in a big spot the rest of the year. But congratulations to Gunnar Henderson. Cool name. He had family in the crowd here in Cleveland, and he just destroyed that ball off McKenzie. And that was it. The Orioles tacked on a couple in the eighth on a Arias home run off of Morgan. But, the Guardians were just getting nothing. It was they just couldn't hit yesterday. And it wasn't like they were facing a great pitcher. I mean, Jordan Lyles is okay. But he pretty much stymied them. They had a couple of opportunities, but just couldn't get a big hit. And, Rosario and Ramirez got a couple of hits each, and that was about it. Palacios had a hit, and not much doing. The bottom of the lineup continues to be a struggle. Palacios, Maley, and Benson, and then Straw pinch it. Why you'd ever pinch hit Straw? I mean, I guess lefty-righty, and, it's not like Benson's hit much either, but the bottom three spots in the lineup were combined 1 for 9 with a walk. Not great, but not great. Pretty terrible. But anyway, it just wasn't their night. Fortunately for the Guardians, the Twins also lost yesterday, falling to the Red Sox 6-5. Boston almost let this one get away. They were up 5-0. They scored 5 in the third, and they were up 6-2 heading to the seventh. And the Twins got 1 in the seventh and 2 in the eighth. But the Red Sox did hold on. They've been bad this year. They've been really bad. But anyway, that's the final. So the lead remains a game and a half. The Guardians played today. The Twins don't. The Guardians have played one less game than the Twins. So if they can win today, so they're up 2 in the loss column. And right, 2 in the loss column and 1.5 games ahead. But if they win, is it one more game? 120. Let's see. The Twins have played 129. Yeah, and the Guardians have played 128. So if they can get a lead, they'll still be up 2 in the loss column. So one more game with Baltimore, and then the Mariners come to town for a 3-game weekend series, and we know how tough they were in Seattle. The Twins begin a 3-game series this weekend with the White Sox. So those teams going head-to-head. The White Sox, they did win yesterday against Kansas City. They ended their losing streak, so they're 5 out. I think though, now it would bring them closer into the mix, obviously. But I think if you're a Guardians fan, which I'm sure 99.9% of you are, you got to root for the White Sox to sweep the Twins this weekend. In a way, you say, well, but then that could bring the White Sox closer. Sure, but right now the Twins are 3.5 up on the White Sox. You worry about the White Sox later, and you got to play the Twins head-to-head more than you play the White Sox. So I think right now, things could change after the series. But this weekend, especially playing a tough Seattle team, I think you're hoping that the White Sox can take care of business against Minnesota. That series is in Chicago. Surprisingly, the White Sox have actually played better on the road, which is pretty uncommon. I think they're the only team in the American League with a better home record or a better road record. There's a couple other teams, but generally, obviously play better at home. But you throw it away. It's one game. They couldn't hit. And all, but listen. Overall, the Guardians' bats since playing the Mariners have been pretty cold. And you know that we've talked about this all season long. The Guardians are a team that has the huge peaks and the huge valleys, and especially offensively, whereas their pitching is for the most part been really excellent. All right, the bullpen's been phenomenal. The top 3 starters in the rotation, McKenzie, Bieber, who pitches tonight, and Quantrill, who pitched on Tuesday, was it? Are we Thursday now? Yeah, on Tuesday. They've all been excellent. Plesac's been up and down. The Savali's been terrible. But overall, like the Guardians pitching's been pretty consistent the second half of the year. It's the lineup that has really peaked and valleyed significantly. And right now, you're in one of those valleys where they are really scuffling to score. They did score 5 against the Orioles on Tuesday, and they did score 7 against the Padres last Wednesday. But overall, in their last 8 games, they have scored a total of 11, 13, 17, 22. They have 22 runs in their last 8 games. Right? And that includes a 7-0 win over the Padres. And they're still averaging under 3 runs per game in their last 8. Actually, if you go back 9 games, because they lost that last game to the White Sox before the rainout, that Saturday game, they lost 2-0. So really, it's 9 games where they've scored 22 runs. So now you're talking about less than 2.5 runs per game over the last 4. And again, that includes a 7-0 game. So right now, the bats overall are pretty cold. I'm hoping, you're facing a young pitcher today, Kyle Bradish, who's struggled. But, after that, you'll face some tough pitchers this weekend against the Mariners, and then the pitching again lightens against Kansas City, Minnesota to some degree, and the Angels after that. We'll see. But again, it's going to be an interesting month of September into the first few days of October for the Cleveland Guardians. All right, folks, I got to talk to you about Bet Online. If you're looking for help with college football, which is starting this weekend, and I guess there were games last weekend, but the full slate starting this weekend, and pro football, man, BetOnline.net, number one source for all your football betting needs and sports info this season. All the latest league developments, news, game matchups, info, podcasts, including this year's opening week games, of course. College this weekend, NFL next week. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. Fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. It's pretty easy. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Bet Online, where the game starts. So last night in Astoria, Queens, home of the U.S. Open, Serena Williams took to the court in front of, obviously, a sold-out crowd that loves her. She is beloved in the tennis world, but especially in New York City. That is, obviously she grew up in California, but it feels like it feels like she grew up in New York because they love her there. Love her, and more than everywhere else. And I think they love her everywhere. But so Serena Williams obviously announced recently that she didn't call it a retirement. I can't remember now what she called it, but she's basically retiring, at least from singles play. And this is probably her last tournament. Obviously she wanted to end it at Arthur Ashe Stadium in the U.S. Open, where she's had the most success. She's had success everywhere. But this is her court. And obviously the fans were going bananas last night, as they did for her opening round matchup. Now, in the opening round matchup, nobody was surprised that she won. And I'll admit, I know nothing about tennis. Like, I liked tennis a lot when I was younger. I was more into it. I'm less interested in it these days. And I don't know a lot of the players on either side, men or women. But so I admit not to be an authority, but this woman whose name I can't pronounce, I'm not even going to try it, who Serena beat yesterday, she was the number 2 seed, and I had never heard of her. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's just because I don't pay close enough attention to tennis. But then I heard people talking about the fact that I think she's won one quarterfinal match. Like, she's never won a big tournament. And I'm like, how is she the number 2 player in the world if she's never won a major? I don't think she's gotten to a final before. And yet, people, again, that know more about tennis than me, a lot of people thought that Serena was going to lose yesterday. And I just said, I said to myself, like, she's still Serena Williams. Obviously, she's not as good a player as she once was, but, like, that's still in there. And the fact, like, when you're that great, I mean, you think about, like, Kobe Bryant in his last game scored, like, 1,000 points. And I know he took 1,000,000 shots, but, like, when you're a player of that caliber, and she's one of the greatest athletes in the history of American sports, when you're that great and you know this is it, if you're physically able, which she seems to be right now, and even if you're playing good players, they're good players, but not anywhere close to the caliber of what she is. So even diminished, like, I feel like she knows she's got this one last chance. If she wins this tournament, it's going to be just an incredible story. And again, I acknowledge that I don't know this woman she played, and I don't, I probably have no business saying, well, I knew she was going to win, but I just assumed she was going to win because it's the woman she was beating. I don't think is a great player. She's like probably a good player, but it's Serena Williams. And it's a home match. Everybody at that court is, maybe even the other woman's coach is, pretty much everybody in that crowd is going bananas for her. That means something. That helps. And because she's got the heart of a lion, because she's such an all-time great champion, even at a diminished ability, she was so far ahead of everybody else at her best that even diminished, it seems like she could still win this championship. And I know some of the higher-seeded players have been eliminated, and I hope that she wins the whole thing. And I think she's going to. Maybe I'm nuts. There are probably a few. Maybe my buddy Dustin Fox is listening to this. Maybe my friend Lynn Myers on Twitter is listening to this. And maybe they're saying, Bull, you're out of your depth here. You don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to tennis. And I admit that. But I'm not betting against Serena Williams. I mean, I'm not betting against Serena Williams at all. And I think she's going to win the whole freaking thing. And I hope she does. I really do. One other thing. As I'm recording this podcast, there's some breaking news this morning. Russell Wilson has agreed to a 5-year extension worth $245 million, with $165 million guaranteed at signing, per league source. That takes the total contract value to $296 million, this according to Josina Anderson. The finer details still being reviewed as we speak. And as right now, it's 8:54 Thursday, September 1st in the morning. So there you go. Again, similar total money to Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson. Obviously, Watson got the big guarantee, got more guarantee, but the Russell Wilson, I think, got more guarantee than Kyler Murray. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Lamar Jackson here. And then, of course, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow next offseason is going to be just wild. Just wild. All right. Been a lot of fun as always. Go Serena. Go Guardians. Really like to see the Guardians bounce back, get this victory tonight. They had a chance to, they have a chance to get the lead back up to 2 with the Twins not playing. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull. See ya.